Welcome back to Marbella now. My name is Nicole King and it's a pleasure to be once again in the Marina at Marbella here at the harbour. It's amazing how many people think this is private. It does look so exclusive, but everyone is so welcome. So do come in, come up the stairs and pay a visit to this fabulous restaurant that has the most amazing views you can imagine.
Let the music get to your heart. Let it set you on your way. No time to hesitate. We are all the same. So much trouble tearing us apart. Poison arrows shoot straight to your heart. We can change if we try. Just believe it's worth your time.
Unbelievably, we're coming once again to the 4th of July. And for Americans, this is a very significant date. And to join us to talk about this, we have an American in Marbella. More than one, I'm sure. John, welcome back to Marbella now. It's lovely to see you again.
It's a pleasure to be here this morning, Nicole.
Isn't it glorious? I mean, the summer is really, really here. How are you enjoying the heat?
I love it. I love it.
Which part of the States are you from?
Originally from Ohio, but now in Florida.
So you're used to like the different weather changes, you're used to heat, but Marbella offers something very special. What is it that attracts you particularly?
Well, the weather here is just spectacular, without a doubt. I grew up in Ohio where we had 4 seasons, a very harsh winter and a very hot and humid summer. And it's a pleasure to be here in Marbella where we have a little bit more even keel temperatures. We do have a winter and we do have a summer, but they're very mild, I would say, in comparison.
So is this a place that you've chosen to retire?
Yes, yes.
And do you find that you get enough to do here to keep yourselves busy?
Oh yes, there's a lot to do here in Marbella, right.
What do you like to do? I'm sorry to be ever so nosy, but it's nice to see when people come to live in our community how you entertain yourselves.
Well, being here by the sea, you are naturally drawn to the sea and to the beach. And I had never lived by the sea before. I'd always lived inland, and now I find myself at the beach as often as I can go. I love the beach. I love to walk along the beach. I love to run along the beach. I love to just take my chair and sit and read by the beach. I have become a real adult onset beach bum. So to speak.
Well, I mean, isn't that just the privilege of life? Well, I'm sure you deserve it. Being American, being in Marbella, it's very easy to forget who we are as a nationality because everything here is very cosmopolitan. We all mix together, the different nationalities. Do you remember 4th of July? Is this something that you like to celebrate? Is it like, did you keep the traditions from back home and celebrate them here?
Very much so. We always celebrate the 4th of July. The 4th of July is, like you said, the most significant holiday for Americans. It's our Independence Day. And it,
From us, Brits.
it traditionally starts with a parade. In the small town America where I grew up in and lived most of my life, in the morning there is a parade with marching bands and local politicians and local celebrities being driven through the parade. And that's in the morning, and then that's followed in the afternoon by a picnic or a barbecue, whether it's with family or friends. And then the day continues into the evening where there's fireworks.
Very exciting. It is it's lovely to see that it is a very family event that you do, because Spain's got these great traditions and parades and things like that. It's nice to see that there is this community spirit. Now, when we talk about Americans, we have this thing, oh, Americans, hamburgers and hot dogs. However, I think that the 4th of July would be one of those days that we would be right in thinking that that would be a typical American menu when you're celebrating, or does it depend on what area of the States you're from?
Oh, I think very much so. You would always find hamburgers and hot dogs on the menu, as well as ribs. And depending upon the part of the country that you're from, there may be some variation in that barbecue. But the accompaniments are baked beans and potato salad and potato chips and coleslaw and corn on the cob, and all followed by watermelon for dessert.
Oh, so watermelon would be the traditional
Yes.
dessert.
Yes.
And
Yes.
do you plan on indulging in this in Marbella on Wednesday?
We are. We will be going to an event in Las Chapas, Elviria, that will feature American-style barbecue. And so we'll hopefully have our fill of hamburgers and hot dogs and various salads.
That's what's so nice in Marbella, because even if you're here, I know that your family is all over the place, but it's nice that in Marbella we have these community, again, events going on so that we don't have to be alone. You can take part in all these great international festivities. There's an American club here in Marbella as well, so there's obviously quite a few Americans here. Do you tend to mix with people from back home?
We do. The American club here in Marbella has Americans, individuals who have an interest in American culture or a connection to America, whether it's because they work there or they have relatives there, or they just have a general interest in American culture, which is very pervasive these days. And we meet twice a month. We meet for coffee, and then we have a luncheon where we get together and partake.
Well, it's nice because otherwise you can kind of lose touch with what goes on back home. It's very easy when you're here to just become this fishbowl of Marbella and nothing else happens except what we're up to. So to become a member of the American Club, you don't have to be then necessarily American.
No, you do not. You do not. You just have to have an interest in, like I said, in American culture.
Well, that's
and in
something.
America, as
Well, how can you not? I mean, it is just such a fascinating country. Just the sheer vastness of it covers so many different cultures, temperatures, vegetation. It's like quite a unique country, and if you've never been, you should certainly go. I believe that we've got now more scheduled flights to the States than used to be. Is this helping Americans come to visit Marbella, or is this just a very seasonal thing still?
I would think it's more seasonal. The direct flights are seasonal right now, but there are flights to the United States. That, you know, there's a lot of flights to Florida for obvious reasons, that people like to go to Disney World and some of the other amusement parks that are in Florida, as well as Northern Europeans who like to escape the winter and go to Florida. So there are quite a few flights. As a matter of fact, the last time that we went back to the States, we took a very nice flight that got us to Miami in the middle of the afternoon.
Luxuries, simple pleasures. Well, John, I wish you a very happy 4th of July. It's lovely to see you again. And perhaps we'll see you up in Elviria to a little bit of celebrating the independence of the Americans from the British. Each to his own, as they say.
Well, thank you very much.
It's my pleasure.
Bye.
Free taxi 4 times a month and 25% discount on your car insurance if you're the Zero Hero.
I was ever so pleased to hear that the teatro, the wonderful dining theatre experience, will drive you home if you need to not have you drinking and driving. These are wonderful incentives which complement our Zero Hero incentive. Together with the Road Traffic Safety Foundation Linea Directa and the car insurance company Linea Directa, we're really doing a lot to try and make more awareness in our Marbella community that we are 147 different nationalities signed on the town census, and we're all driving on the same 27-kilometre stretch of road, any which way but loose, which means we are kind of at risk, particularly if we're going out to dine and then have a drink and then get in our cars. We might be over the limit without realising it. So places like the harbour, the Playwrights, Beckett's, the Boardwalk, the Red Chiringuito, the Kempinski Bayer Hotel, the Urban Villa, the Hard Rock Cafe, and so many more I can't think right now. Babylonia, Tibu, the port side are becoming part of this Zero Hero project. If you go out with your friends and you're the designated driver, they're not going to charge you for your soft drinks. Why be punished for doing the right thing? If you have a business that would like to get involved with this project, please contact us, because all participating businesses will be supported not only by Me Marbella Radio and Marbella Now with our TV Marbella and the Town Hall, but also will be given extra coverage in newspapers like RTN, Euroweekly and the Marbella Rocks magazine, which have been the first to jump on board with this fabulous incentive. We are #so much better together.
Hey, hey.
Free taxi 4 times a month and 25% discount on your car insurance if you're the Zero Hero.
Yeah, I'm here in Marbella, but it says here I'm in La Canada.
If you haven't mastered the lingo, don't worry. Linear Director has a free GPS geolocator service that will come and find you.
Hey, hey.
Mosquitoes are always unpleasant, particularly if you're prone for getting bit. However, I would like to tell you that there is a plague of tiger mosquitoes which have come to our coast. Now, they're normally from the other side of the ocean, but they have come here, and world is getting smaller and smaller. Now, this is actually very serious because these tiger mosquitoes carry very serious diseases like the Zika virus. So it's very important that we're up on this. The Andalusian government is so concerned that they've actually been giving out informations and warnings to the public so that we can actually also take measures to try and keep this population of tiger mosquitoes at bay. Now, in order to reproduce, these mosquitoes need stagnant water. Now, this is not just stagnant water from ponds. This can be little bits of water that collect in buckets, in children's toys, in the bottom of those flower pots when you have those little dishes. Any water that is going to be sitting still, including in our dogs' bowls, can give a base for these mosquitoes to reproduce. So in order for us to try and keep this population at bay, it's very important that we do not leave little bits of water anywhere. Make sure the children's toys on the terrace are cleaned out. You don't leave drips of water in the buckets. Make sure you change the plates underneath the plants. Make sure you change your animals' water frequently, because it is very important that we do not let these mosquitoes set up home in our environment and obviously put us all at risk. Thank you so much for taking the little bit of extra time to make sure that you're doing your bit.
Hey, hey.
I've been really looking forward to actually meeting this guest for ages. His name is PJ Lopez, and he is the other half of our lovely Hannah Murray, who is a Talk Radio Europe presenter. So PJ, how nice to meet you. My name's Nicole.
Nice to meet you for once, properly,
Properly.
rather than in the background somewhere.
I know we've always like coinciding in different events, loud music or busy doing something. And I've been looking forward to meeting you because you have launched a fabulous page to coordinate all the different things going on in San Pedro de Alcántara, which I think is very, very cool. However, before we talk about that, I'd like to know a bit more about you.
Okay.
I was worried today whether you would be speaking any English because your name is PJ Lopez, PJ Lopez, but then you came out with perfect English. Do you speak Spanish?
I speak a little bit of Spanish, not as well as I'd like to. I mean, I can get by in Spanish. Business level is not what I'd like it to be. You know, I can communicate and go to the shops and get things without coming back with the wrong things. But no, a lot of my history and business in Spain has always been with the UK-speaking clients.
So where did this surname come from? I mean, it's hard to get more Spanish than Lopez.
Yeah, it's hereditary. So I think back to my great-great-grandfather. So there is some Spanish in there, but obviously we were all brought up in the UK. So it goes back quite a few generations, so you know the language has never been there, and I came over here in 2003 and sort of, I suppose, come home to Spain eventually. So yeah, I've got a lot of learning to do.
Well, that's very exciting. You got married recently to the lovely Hannah Murray, so congratulations.
Thank you.
How did you two meet?
Well, we both came over here, actually at the same time, both came over in 2003, but we were with different partners back then. And eventually we got together once our relationships had broken down. And yeah, Hannah runs a weekly quiz at the Hogan Stand in San Pedro.
Lots of fun. I like quizzing. I've been a few times.
It's good fun. It's a real good atmosphere and a good community that go there. And we just got to know each other more and more and started spending more time together as great friends. We used to, just hang out as friends, and then, we developed and we got married last year. Yeah.
It's so exciting.
Yeah.
And when did this idea come about to start this page for San Pedro? Because there isn't actually anything dedicated to San Pedro. It just goes to show you there's always something that hasn't been done yet.
Yeah, well, I suppose that's why we did it. I've actually had the website now for probably about 3 years, but I just started building it very, very slowly, just to put some information together, more as a sort of directory and small guide. And then I've been living in San Pedro now for I think about 4 years. Hannah and I moved down to San Pedro together, and as I think as everybody knows, it's really grown. It's gone from this sort of small village style type of place to this really blossoming cosmopolitan town that it is now. There's new restaurants, there's new beach bars, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, South San Pedro, as they call it. The first time I saw North San Pedro where the pharmacy is was hysterical. But South San Pedro's got some great hip new galleries and these very cool restaurants.
Yeah, well, and that's the information is there. I think if you're Spanish, there's a few websites dedicated to San Pedro that you might be able to find some information. But we've got a lot more tourists now, so we've got a lot more people outside of just living in San Pedro that want to come and find out what's going on and where to eat and where to go. So that's why we started to grow the site. So I teamed up with my business partners, which are Manifesto Design. They specialise in content, and the one thing I was lacking on the site was actually creating regular content. So together with them, we now run the site together, and they write a lot of blog content. So they go out and research what's going on every week, what people should know about, and we literally put it into the site so that people can find out where to go, what's going on.
It's very important to know what's going on, but do you cover just restaurants, bars, events, or also the different roadworks and
Everything.
Issues that go with San Pedro?
Yeah, it's everything. We're trying to not be too political in there, because there's a lot of political things going on in San Pedro at the moment. There's a lot of infighting. We did cover very briefly the building of the new, I think it's the new tourist office. So there was a few disputes about some trees and some things going on there. So we covered that, and we will cover that, but not in too much depth.
But those are things that, for example, those who are registered on the town census can actually get involved with and have an opinion. You might not know this, but if you are registered on your town census, the padron, when issues come up in the local community, you can get involved, you can have a say. And there are things that I think that the neighbours do want to have a say, whether you're politically whatever
you're
intention.
Correct. I think the idea is that we will put the information up there, but obviously ourselves be very neutral in the information that goes up there, so we're not seen to be siding with one side or the other, because like anything, there's two sides to everything. Some people might say, well, this is fantastic, we've got a new tourist office and it's good for San Pedro, and other people that live there will say, but we love our trees and we don't want them pulled down, so we don't want it there, put it somewhere else. So, there are two sides to it. But yes, of course, we will cover the information, but it's more than just restaurants and bars, as you said. There's, I think one thing that used to frustrate me is the new boulevard. I'd walk down the boulevard on a Sunday afternoon and there'd be this huge food fair or something going on, and it's, where did this come from? I haven't seen any posters, I haven't seen any information on this. And I think that was what was lacking in San Pedro, was information for people, just general people living there as well. There isn't a site dedicated to San Pedro, so you can't really find out why there's a food fair there, when it's going to be there, what's going to happen next week on the boulevard, who's going to be at the amphitheatre, for example. They've got a lovely amphitheatre there. There's some great things that go on there, but nobody knows who's there from one week to the next.
So these are the things that we can now anticipate from your website. What's the address of the website?
It's very simple. It's sanpedromarbella.eu. So
it's very simple. So San Pedro, which is part of Marbella, sanpedromarbella.eu.
That's correct,
And if people would like to advertise you, is that also a possibility?
Yes, it is. What we're trying to do now is really grow the content so it becomes very useful for people. I think that's like stage one. We're also very heavily on social media, so the Facebook and Instagram are our main accounts, and we're starting to get a lot of engagement on those. This morning, just before coming here, I was literally on the Facebook page to someone asking, where can I do yoga in San Pedro? So I was literally replying, we've had a blog already about yoga in San Pedro, and then let her know about some other places. So that's the sort of information that people are asking and engaging with. And then eventually the idea is that we want businesses in San Pedro, and only businesses in San Pedro. We were approached recently by a business in Estepona that wanted to be part of the guide, but they're not in San Pedro, and that's not what we want. We want people
exclusively dedicated to San Pedro.
Yeah, so and you know, and they have to physically be here. It's not like, well, we sell property in San Pedro, can we be on there? It's not. If you sell property and you're based in San Pedro, yes, you can. If you sell property and you're not based in San Pedro, no, you can't. You know, we really want it to be a local site. And yes, people can get involved. It's more like so they can have a directory listing on there. They can have a profile, so we literally like a mini interview about their business on there, so they get a dedicated page for that. And then we will promote them on social media throughout the year as well.
But other businesses will also get covered, even if they're not advertising as such, if there's something going on of
it's
interest.
Information, so of course if there's events and things going on in businesses, we will always cover that. That's more of a commercial side, if someone wants to be commercially, so that they're actually guaranteed to get pushed out and promoted. But other than that, of course, anything, we're constantly covering new restaurants that open, and when we're out and about, because I live in San Pedro, so when I'm out and about, I'm constantly posting up photos on social media and what's going on.
I know, I'm always liking and tagging and things. And also, a few times I've bumped into you and Hannah walking around San Pedro, and you've actually been saying, hey, listen, I just tried that place and this place, and it's always, I found, very helpful to actually now have you sharing this on a larger scale with people who don't necessarily have to bump into you to ask you is a big plus.
We've got, as I said, having teamed up with Manifesto, we've got a lot more of us now that are out and about that are posting up there. So it's good as well, because you get some different sort of ways of doing it. So
and Jackie, Michelle and the team are really wonderful. So it's lovely to see #BetterTogether.
Yeah.
This joining of forces
Absolutely.
to give something better for the community.
Yeah, and it's working really well. And as you said, you know, when we go and visit a restaurant and when we like that restaurant, we want to share that with people. I think that's great that, you know, people just know that we've had a great experience and other people have had a great experience. And let's face it, so much opening up in San Pedro now. I mean, wow, how many new restaurants this year alone.
And when they want them to survive, the average time for a restaurant or a business surviving in Marbella is 18 months. If you can get past that.
I didn't know that.
Yes, unfortunately, it's a very transitional market, and so it's important to really do your homework. As you say, you take your time, make sure you set things up well, so they could be long-lasting. Just a quick thing before we finish and talk about long-lasting. John was talking about, and my son-in-law's sister, so it's like my daughter-in-law. I'm not sure how you would. They were getting married in Marbella. It's very attractive.
Yeah.
A lot of people are coming to Marbella to get married, and you have recently got married in San Pedro.
We did, yes.
John was asking about for his daughter and things. How was that for you? You got married in Alabardero, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was fantastic. We looked at a lot of venues. And when we saw that one and we had the meeting, we saw the venue itself, and we fell in love with it. It's on the beach in San Pedro. Literally, you can't get any closer to the beach. They've got an outdoor area with a tree, so we got married under an olive tree that they hung lanterns on and things. And yeah, it was fantastic. I mean, we love San Pedro, you know, so to get married there as well was fabulous. It was great because it's outdoors, even though it was. Well, actually, it's September, so it was warm, but not too warm.
Not too warm, not like today's weather.
Photos on the beach and everything. So yeah, we loved it. It's a fabulous venue. Highly recommend it.
Could you actually get married here, or did you have to go to Gibraltar?
I mean, you can get married
between
here.
The Yoko Ono, the John Lennon and Yoko Ono getting married.
We followed in the
Gibraltar
Beatles footsteps.
Spain.
Yeah. No, we did do Gibraltar for the official part of it, and then we had the ceremony in San Pedro. So. When we celebrate our anniversary, the official part is the one from Gibraltar, but in our hearts, the one that we really got married at was obviously in San Pedro.
Where there's a will, there is a way.
Absolutely.
Love that blossomed in Marbella and is growing and is lovely. As I say, to actually have a chance to meet you. I thought he was Spanish and I didn't know he spoke any English, and we've been bumping each other for at least a year or so, if not more.
Yeah. But, no, well, it's been great to. I mean, your support and supporting you where we can as well. I think that's what it's all about here. I don't think it happens enough, and you know, hopefully more businesses that want to survive will come together and help each other. And I think, you know, you're certainly right behind that and helping that grow. So no, thank you for the
I think
invitation.
instead of fearing each other, we need to embrace each other.
Absolutely,
Because we've
yeah.
got a lot to offer. We've all got something very, very special, even if we do the same thing. We've all got our unique thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lovely to meet you,
You
PJ.
too. Thank you for the invitation. And
My pleasure. So it's sanpedromarbella.eu.
.eu, yeah, and then you'll see all the social media accounts off the back of that.
Perfect. See you there.
Thank you.
In San Pedro.
Absolutely.
De Alcantara. Alcantara.
Alcantara.
Alcantara.
Hey, hey.
Free taxi 4 times a month and 25% discount on your car insurance if you're the Zero Hero.
I was ever so pleased to hear that the teatro, the wonderful dining theatre experience, will drive you home if you need to not have you drinking and driving. These are wonderful incentives which complement our Zero Hero incentive. Together with the Road Traffic Safety Foundation Linear Director and the car insurance company Linear Director, we're really doing a lot to try and make more awareness in our Marbella community that we are 147 different nationalities signed on the town census, and we're all driving on the same 27-kilometre stretch of road, any which way but loose, which means we are kind of at risk, particularly if we're going out to dine and then have a drink and then get in our cars. We might be over the limit without realising it. So places like the Harbour, the Playwrights, Beckett's, the Boardwalk, the Red Chiringuito, the Kempinski Bayer Hotel, the Urban Villa, the Hard Rock Cafe, and so many more I can't think right now. Babylonia, Tibu, the Portside are becoming part of this Zero Hero project. If you go out with your friends and you're the designated driver, they're not going to charge you for your soft drinks. Why be punished for doing the right thing? If you have a business that would like to get involved with this project, please contact us, because all participating businesses will be supported not only by Me Marbella Radio and Marbella Now with our TV Marbella and the Town Hall, but also will be given extra coverage in newspapers like RTN, Euroweekly and the Marbella Rocks magazine, which have been the first to jump on board with this fabulous incentive. We are #so much better together.
Hey, hey.
Hello Marbella, it's Amanda from Silk and Sin here again, courtesy of the lovely Nicole King and Marbella Now TV. And I would like to talk to you about a problem that was presented to me by a lady called Julie who contacted me. Now, Julie is a lady who lives here and she's in a relationship with someone very happily that she's been with for 4 years, but she has a problem, and the problem is this. Now, 5 years ago, she split up after a long-term relationship with someone, and I'm saying 15, 20 years, and it wasn't a very amicable split. It was actually quite acrimonious, and the gentleman in question left her for a much younger girl and went off. Now, this is the situation. They split up, Julie stayed here, her ex-husband partner went back to the UK with his new lady, and she got her life back together, and she ended up meeting someone, and she's in a wonderful relationship, has been for 4 years, they live together, everything's great, except Julie has written to me and said she's suffering from feelings of anger about her past relationship, even though she's wonderfully happy with her new partner. It's been 5 years, everything's over. As she said to me, why aren't I better now? Now, things don't work that way. The situation is she's still feeling feelings of incredible anger towards her ex. And so much so that she said sometimes she even dreams or has nightmares about him where she's so angry they're in a situation and she wakes up and she's literally shouting. And on one occasion, she was punching her ex in her dreams and woke up and she'd been punching her current partner while they were asleep. And she said to me, I'm over him, I don't care about him. I don't think about him during the day. Why is this happening? And why do I feel these feelings of anger quite frequently, when I don't love him anymore, I don't want to be with him anymore, I'm with a man I love now. Now, anger is a very complex emotion. It's also a very toxic one. And it's also incredibly linked to feelings of loss. When people are bereaved, there is a series of phases that usually they go through. And having trained in bereavement counselling, I've seen this so often, that after the grief and the feelings of loss, an anger comes. But in this situation, it's the other way around, in a way. So Julie is having these dreams, is feeling occasionally these feelings of anger. And I said to her, the thing is, this anger, you've obviously not resolved the issues of loss you feel about your past relationship. And that loss is showing itself as anger, subconsciously. Hence the dreams or nightmares and the sudden feelings of anger she gets when there is nothing to be angry about. As I've just said, anger is one of the most toxic emotions we can feel. Apart from situations where it's right to be angry. For example, when we hear of terrible things happening in the world, suffering, wars, injustice, that's okay. That's a healthy anger. That's a good moral anger that it's acceptable to feel, and rightly so, and we can do positive things with that. But the sort of anger that Julie's experiencing is not positive at all, and in fact is negative, and does have a very toxic effect. Anger can actually physically affect you, and actually, I believe, in my opinion, cause physical disorder as well. So I think Julie is suffering still. She hasn't dealt with the issues of the loss of her relationship. She didn't want to end the relationship with her ex when it first happened. She had no idea anything was wrong. And then suddenly, out of the blue, he's turned around and said to her, I found someone else, I don't want to be with you anymore. And of course she was angry then. And as she said to me, that should all be left behind by now. Why am I still angry? I'm in love with somebody else. But the thing is, she, at the time of the breakup with her ex, she obviously didn't deal thoroughly, as most of us don't, because we're in the middle of it. And when you're in the middle of an emotional situation, it's very difficult to step back and look at things coolly. So I think she never dealt with the anger and the loss. As I said, I think the anger is a result of a feeling of loss she still has from this relationship that's gone. So she feels that it's very difficult to talk about with her current partner. He then gets angry and thinks, why are you still thinking about him? Do you still want him? So she doesn't talk about that to him, and perhaps that's a good thing. I think she needs to talk to someone, whether it's a friend, a family member, work through it on her own, or possibly see a therapist or a counsellor, putting my hand up here, but just in general, to deal with those feelings, because they're not just going to go away. 5 years later, she's still got them. They're not going to disappear. And it's intrinsically linked to the feelings of loss she has for that relationship and the days when it was good, her past relationship was good. So, as I said, anger is a very, very toxic emotion, and this isn't something that can be ignored. It needs to be worked through. And we can feel angry at lots of things, but in this particular situation, and I can feel it because I have had a similar experience. So, if you feel like that, look at it, work through it. It needs to be looked at. You can't just ignore those feelings because they're linked to something deeper and they don't just go away. Anyway, that's a very interesting, I think, subject, and loss and anger are things that we will be talking about in future programs, and how to deal with them in a positive and forward-moving way. Anyway, thank you very much for listening, Marbella, and I will see you soon with another problem. It's goodbye from me, Amanda from Silk and Sin, and thank you to Nicole and Marbella now, and you, the viewers, for watching and listening. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Hey, hey.
Free taxi 4 times a month and 25% discount on your car insurance if you're the Zero Hero.
I was delighted that I have my car insured with Linear Director, because when I was going to the station in Malaga just a few months ago, the car broke down in 5 lanes of terrible traffic. It was terrifying. The good thing was, although I couldn't explain exactly where I was, the GPS locator came to find us, and then while the car was being repaired, we had a courtesy car. Linear Director really is watching out for our best interests, so check them out, 952 14 78 34 or lineardirector.com. A couple of weeks ago, I did a small piece on a Spanish medication called Nolotil. And the reason I did this is because I wanted to give people a heads up, a warning that some people can react adversely to this medication, but it is one of the most frequently prescribed medications in Spain. I must have at least 10 packs or vials at any given time at home, and a lot of people the same. However, Graham here is going to explain to us that this medication is actually not suited for Brits, especially if you're pale-skinned and blonde. And unfortunately, Graham learned this because when they came over to live in Spain about 11 years ago, his wife was prescribed this, and unfortunately, she passed away. First of all, Graham, it's a very difficult thing to talk about. I'm really sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
I know that you're still very sorry for your loss. It's something, obviously, that you never get over.
That's correct, yes.
Must be hard to talk about it, but at the same time you don't want other people to lose a loved one for such a simple thing as knowing that there are different medications and indications.
Yeah. Nolotil is a simple painkiller. It's nothing more, it's nothing special. But if you're a Celt or an Anglo-Saxon or a Scandinavian or a Caucasian, there's a risk between 1 in 1,000 and 1 in 10,000 that this will kill you. Or if it doesn't kill you, there'll be very severe adverse effects. So that means if the risk is 1 in 1,000, and 1,000 prescriptions are given to Northern Europeans in any one day, then one person is going to be made seriously ill, and that's the statistic. If it's as wide as 1 in 10,000, that means every 10 days somebody's going to be killed or made severely ill. This drug attacks the bone marrow and deletes the white blood cells. That means your whole immune system is destroyed if you're susceptible to this. And the thing that I'm passionate about, and the thing that annoys me most of all, is the drug company who make this do not know how it works. They just have tried it out. They don't really care. They are banned in most countries. It's banned in nearly all of Northern Europe. It's banned in the United States, in Australia, in Canada, because it is such a dangerous drug.
And here, really, it is one of the most commonly prescribed prescriptions. Every time you go for anything, that would be one of the first things that they would prescribe on one of these vials of Nolotil, because it's strong and powerful. And
yes. Well, that's exactly what happened to my wife. She had an operation. They gave her 2 of those, and within 3 days her immune system had been destroyed totally. And there are many other cases. As you know, I've been working with the Olive Press, and they had, after we put our article in, more and more people have came and said, I've had the worst illness of my life, my partner has died, someone else has died, because they've taken Nolotil. And again, there is nothing special about Nolotil. It's not such an important drug that it's worth taking the risk.
Exactly, there are so many other options to take for a painkiller.
Yes, aspirin, paracetamol, ibuprofen, whatever works for you. Not Nolotil.
How come that this is still available in Spain? Is it because you were mentioning that it's fair-skinned and blondes, and it's the paler skin? So is it because of the more like olive skin that they have here in Spain that they're not affected, or is it? What's the reason?
It's obviously to do with genetics. It's about the genes that we inherit from our particular race groups, and for some reason it hasn't affected Mediterranean people. And when my wife was killed, the chief surgeon of the Costa del Sol said he would work to get it banned and it would never be prescribed in his hospital again. Now it's been prescribed in his hospital again, so one assumes that the drug company has spent money and has persuaded officials to allow it to be prescribed, even though it's banned in so many other countries.
Well, I think it's definitely commendable that the Olive Press has embraced this and supporting. Obviously, you have our full support, and it would look like, obviously, the mission is, above all, is to tell people, if the administrations or the pharmaceutical companies, as we know, are that abusively powerful, that they can sway, even it's in all things, money talks and the rest walks, but if we know this, then hopefully we can stop other people going through this same problem.
Yes, it's made by the chemical company Hoche, one of the biggest in the world, and it's obviously dramatically profitable for them, and all they're interested in is making profit. They don't care about the risk.
Well, we have to carry on this campaign. Please share this, tell your friends. Nolotil is something you should take only if you really need to, and if you've got that good Spanish or Latin genes. But I would say that for the rest of us, we really should just keep well away. Not worth the risk, because it is just a painkiller. There is nothing, as you say, special about it.
Exactly.
Well, Graham, I know it's such a tough subject to talk about. It's hard for me to even talk about. It's nice when you're presenting Samantha Anderson and singers, but this is so worthwhile and so commendable. What was your wife's name?
Mary.
Mary. Well, Mary, really sorry to have lost you, but hopefully that Mary can be not the last, it would seem, but one of the last for such a senseless loss of precious life. 40 years of marriage.
Yes.
How wonderful. Great memories. We'll stay with those. No Nolotil.
No Nolotil. Thank you, Nicole.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, hey.
I'm going to play for you now an interview that's from last year. It was with Graham about a medication that is very freely prescribed in Spain. It is called Nolotil. Nolotil is given for pain. However, it is really not indicated for certain people, particularly if you come from like the Gaelic, fair-skinned, pale, fair-haired races. Now, this sounds silly, but it's not. And in fact, although we've been telling you about this, and I know that Graham's been campaigning on this because unfortunately he lost his wife to this, so obviously his interest is paramount, and the Olive Press have been covering this. But Fiona Catchpole, our lovely cybergram, was in a hospital a couple of weeks ago, and she said it was only because she'd seen the program and realized that somebody who was there prescribed with Nolotil was perhaps not feeling well because of this medication. So I am going to replay the interview with Graham, because I think we really do need to know this and pass this information on, because you really can be saving somebody's life.
Hey, hey.
It's amazing how many people really do think that being signed on to the town census, being on the padron, could have repercussions for their tax declarations. Now, this really is not the case. As it stands at the moment, being signed up on the town register only means that the central government gets a rough idea how many people are living in a city, and therefore they will give financing to the local councils to cover policing, medical attention, clearing up the rubbish, other basic needs that we have as a city. Now, officially on the town census, there are some 140,000 people, but you and I know that just in foreigners we can equally double that, but most of us are not on the town register. As I say, a lot of people fearing that this could mean that they will then get taxed. This is not the case. The padrón, the empadronamiento, is really just an internal figure, as I say, to get money from central government to cover the needs we have as a city. Now, if you think apart from the unofficial people who live in Marbella, all those tourists that are coming to join us in the summer, this means that we don't have the money to police, we don't have the money to pick up their rubbish. So as people who live in a city and who love our city, this is a moment when we really need to get involved. And if you see rubbish, pick it up. You know, make sure that you're picking up your dog poops, everything we can to help keep our city lovely. And if you can sign on the town register, please do. If you're in Marbella for any length of time, you need to be on the census. Our lucky men are on the town census, and most of them are illegal immigrants from Senegal. So this, I think, is an easy way to show you that they wouldn't be on the town census if they were scared of getting deported. They do this because it knows it gives them medical coverage and other benefits for living in the city. Please do go to the town hall, get more information if you're nervous, but signing up on the town register is a legal requirement, and it's definitely a moral obligation. It's 8 o'clock in the evening and the sun is still so high in the sky, the marvel of living in Marbella. I'm near Puerto Banús in the Playas del Duque, which is a fabulous area that not everyone knows about. There are some fabulous restaurants, businesses and places to visit, particularly if you want to look after your health. And that's what we're going to talk about now. We're going in to meet Johannes again and Alan, because we're going to visit the event that we're talking about last week on Marbella Now, which was all about this freeze your flab off and to get your face looking young, but without any invasive intervention. So let's take a look inside and see what it's all about.
Where is the love shining through it all? Drops of rain will fall. Feel it coming down. Where is the love? Takes your breath away and leaves you unafraid. Feel it falling from above. Where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love? Look around, am I halfway in the clouds? I can feel it coming down. I almost feel the love. Now I see.
Therapy cryosauna. It looks like this. Basically, when you open here, you step inside here, and then you come up here with the elevator. Your head is going to be outside, and then we cool you down in 3 minutes to minus 150 degrees maximum. All right, you can choose between 130 and minus 155. What is maximum? What's happening when you step inside? Within 20 to 30 seconds, your skin temperature is falling down to 40 degrees Celsius. What is causing what is called vasoconstriction? That means your blood vessels, they do like this, and all the blood is getting pumped in the core, because they are the life important organs, everything what we need to survive, right? This is the nitrogen overpressure. Funny, actually. Okay, so when the blood is coming here, it's getting what is called detoxified, and especially the red blood cells get enormously pumped with oxygen. When you step outside back now, this blood is rushing back into the body. This gives you, I call it like a natural high. I call it like an espresso shot for the whole body. It makes you really fit. Like, you know, a cold shower in the morning makes you fit. This is 10 times more. Okay, so you're really fit and energized after. So that's the first thing. But now is coming the interesting point. Because it was like an emergency situation for the body, what the brain always does after every emergency situation is scanning the whole body where there's maybe a problem. And now let's say, for example, you have a beginning arthritis in the knee, or you have like a meniscus problem, whatever you have, right? Now the brain basically is searching the body where's the problem, is understanding that the problem is in the knee, and it sends the fresh blood exactly there where it's needed. So that means cryotherapy helps the body to heal itself. It gives you like a reset. And the body's scanning and understands, zack, there's the problem. And the more often you do that, the more the body is getting educated, because you can educate the body. The body is very good in healing itself, but when you help him, then it's doing it even better. Okay? So that's basically what is happening in the body when you do the treatment. The treatment has 3 main benefits. The first, obviously, is health. The treatment has been created already in 1975 in Japan for the treatment of rheumatoid arthritis. Okay? Because rheumatoid arthritis is inflammation that is spreading in the whole body. And they were looking basically for a treatment to reduce this inflammation in the whole body. And that's why they created the machine. And they have been very successful over the years. There's a lot of hospitals, alternative hospitals, that they use these methodics for people with arthritis, for people with fibromyalgia, for every kind of pain patients. And they're very successful, especially one of my uncles in Germany. He's a doctor. He's working in Munich in a high clinic. And last time I talked to him, I didn't see him over years. And he said to me, "Hey, Johannes, we have this as well in our clinic. We use it with the patient, and it's working actually very well." I was surprised because I didn't know that it's also in hospitals, like really, he said it's not in every hospital. There are only hospitals like in an area of, 50 kilometers that they do it. But they do it, and they're very successful with it. Because obviously, not everybody is having this kind of open mind to using this kind of therapies, right? But like I said, very successful. And it's not just helping for that, it's helping for like arthritis, like tendinitis, fibromyalgia, like I said, psoriasis, for example, as well, it's helping. So, and science today anyway finds more and more out that almost all age-related diseases are caused by inflammation. Yes, even our aging is related to the inflammation in our bodies, what is very interesting. So that means the less inflammation than you have in your body, the less you get older. Interesting, right? So that's the first thing, health, okay? Then the second thing is recovery. All the sports teams today use this machine. Everybody that is in top sports has this machine. Real Madrid, FC Barcelona, Sevilla, even in Spain now all the clubs have it. In the Bundesliga we already have it 3 years ago. Okay, Premier League they have it already 4 years ago. So that means this is really like something that they are using. Why? Because you recover faster, up to 50% faster than normally. And the funny thing is, like for example, in old times they went in an ice bath. They went in an ice bath for 35-40 minutes in the cold water to reduce the inflammation in the body, because obviously they train every day. So their bodies are inflamed, okay? So, and then basically they went into ice bath to reduce the inflammation. But the problem of the ice bath was they could not train nothing for 6 hours after because of the thermogenesis, basically. With this thing, you're directly ready to go. You can even directly train after. And the effects are better, the 3 minutes are better than 35 minutes of ice bath. So again, this is how it comes to the sports industry. And then the next one and the last one is beauty.
Anything we wanna be, you won't let me fall. Just like a waterfall. Where is the love shining through it all? Drops of rain will fall.
As my daddy always said, it's not what you know or who you know, it's who knows you. So I know this guy, he knows me, and so I get to meet loads of cool people thanks to Martin Ty. And today that has brought us to where Johannes and Alan are celebrating their great new products. And Martin, you discovered this through a friend, and I know it's been a salvation for your knee.
It has indeed. A friend of mine who owns Lash Crowd around the corner said to me, come and get frozen. And I was like,
A Disney movie.
yeah, you know, I can't sing that. But and so I came, and I went in the body chamber where you are for 3 minutes, minus 150, and your body freezes, and it then reacts, and it produces new red blood cells, which are then the brain's clever enough to distribute to where it's needed. And in my case, after a million years of rugby, it was my knees. And after one session, I felt a lot better. So I got hooked, and the added benefit also is you get from the body chamber, your brain produces a lot of endorphins, so you have a real upfeel from it. And as a third bonus, the body goes through an afterburn process where you actually burn about 600 to 800 calories. So my little mind had no problem equating 3 minutes freezing your bits off to lose 800 calories. I'll go for half an hour, but you can't. You can only do 3 minutes.
But for you, I think it was like, because I know that Johanna was inside saying about you stopped playing paddle. There was like a lot of things you couldn't do that you've now taken up again.
Yeah, do it all. And if I play a lot of paddle and my knees ache a bit, I come here and do the localised on my knees as well. And then I'm spring chicken running around again.
So between this place and Glow Next Door, I mean, no wonder you're looking so good at 97.
Oh, how did you know, you know?
I know, I'm not meant to tell anyone that, but you do, you look really good, and I know that you've got a lot going on, and you're just enjoying Marbella at the moment, or trying to.
Well, it's not a hard place to try to enjoy yourself, is it? But I also got involved, the very good friends of mine, Alan and Kate, who launched Isogenics here in Spain. I went on the Isogenics program back in January, and in 12 weeks I lost 12 kilos.
Wow.
And so it works, and I haven't put it on since. So
And that's even better.
yeah, that is.
That's even
I've
better.
tried most diets, and over time, you know, from nil by mouth to the original Cambridge diet. I tried the what's the other one that's quite popular here?
There's so many. But it's funny, I never even noticed that you would, or thought you would ever need to lose weight, but obviously you feel better for it.
I was fat, and now I'm just cuddly. So, you know, it works.
When it's a girl, we say we're more voluptuous. That's what weight does. It makes us a little bit more voluptuous. Martin, it's lovely to see you looking so well.
As always, a pleasure seeing you, Nicole.
Feel it coming down. Where is the love? Takes your breath away and leaves you unafraid. Feel it falling from above. Where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love?
I'm a nutritionist and a holistic practitioner, and I've been working with the Isogenics range now for a year. And it's the very first time that I've ever put my name to a brand of products. And I had my own spas for many years in the United Kingdom, and we are very delighted. I'm one of the first people to bring it over here into Spain. And the whole idea is that it's not a diet, because I am very against diet. If you look at the first 3 letters of diet, what does it tell you? It tells you that you're not actually fueling your body properly. So this whole nutrition system is designed to make you the best version of you. So whatever you're trying to achieve with your personal health, then a program of products can be put together alongside knife and fork food. So you eat proper food that you love, you enjoy your glass of wine, your glass of champagne, you enjoy the way that you like to live your lifestyle. But for many of us, what happens is that we're not necessarily getting all the nutrient profiles that we need. So what Isogenics does is that it ensures that you are getting absolutely everything in your diet every single day. It's also super, super convenient. And many people skip meals, they don't eat properly, they get tired. Anybody here ever felt that they have no energy, that they're tired in the afternoon, that they haven't got time to make breakfast, that maybe they're driving in their car and they stop and they eat things that maybe they don't want to eat? So this is about super fuel, very conveniently packaged, so that you can really enjoy a really healthy, balanced diet. So there's shakes, and the shakes give you all the protein that you need every single day, which means that you build lean muscle mass. It also means that protein pacing has been scientifically proven to help you to lose weight. So Isogenics is a weight loss system, if that's what you need it to be. It's also weight maintenance, so that you are lean, that you're toned, that your skin is really healthy. It sits beautifully with the treatment systems here, because it also helps to reduce the inflammatory markers. So when you've had one of the treatments here, to be able to then upload your body with the profiles that maybe you're missing, it will help to adaptogenically support your system. So everything is natural. Everything is from fruits and flowers and herbs and plant species that are all around the world, and it would be super difficult to get everything that you're getting from this nutrition system if you had to gather it.
And as time flies by, you'll open up your eyes.
Hello, I'm Maria Litchell from Laude San Pedro. Last week's sign was take care. One more time, take care. This week's sign is love yourself and each other. One more time, love yourself and each other.
You feel it's gonna go your way.
Hello everybody, welcome again to the little spot for AAA. My name is Lily and I represent AAA Refuge Center for Dogs and Cats here in Marbella. And today I'd like to introduce you little Pasha. Pasha is a little terrier dog that was found in January in the parking lot here in Marbella, and she was totally paralyzed. The only thing she could move was her head and a little bit her tail. We assume that somebody left her behind because they didn't know what to do, or they didn't have the money, or couldn't take care of her any longer. So she arrived at AAA. We took x-rays, but there were no bones broken, nothing was broken in that way. So we had to take an MRI, and the MRI showed that she had had a stroke in her spine, right here in her neck by her shoulder blades, and there was some residue, and that made her paralyzed because it stopped the blood from going, like it happens to human beings as well. Because Pasha was only about 2 years old, and in researching on internet and talking to a neurologist, a lot of those dogs will survive and will walk again. So we took Pasha home. And with the help of the physiotherapist in Blue Care Hospital, Anna, who has been wonderful. They gave us a wonderful prize to help us out with Pasha. And we've been going with her to the physiotherapy every day, 5 days a week. In the morning we will treat her at home. And as you probably can see, we've come so far that little Pasha can stand. Okay, girl. Okay, she can stand. Yes, you're a good girl. And she even takes already a few little walk or a few little steps. So we're extremely proud of Pasha having come this far. I have all the confidence in her that she will walk again. Maybe not 100% totally, but she will walk again and she will have a good life. I'm not quite sure yet if we're going to put her up for adoption. I don't know if I can let her go, but Pasha is on a fantastic way of going. And it's just to show you that these are the things that we also do at AAA. We do not put them to sleep if there is no hope, if there's nothing at all. We do give them all a chance. We get in a lot of dogs that are either injured or not well or whatever. We will always try to do something with them, to make them better and to take care of them so that they can have a chance for a better life. That's the story of Pasha, and I will come again with her when she can walk more, because we've got a little cart for her. She's now learning to kind of walk in that so she can build up her muscles. It's a long process, as it would have been with any human being, but Pasha is doing fantastically. She learned to walk in a few months' time, and that's just fantastic. The other dogs at AAA, of course, they don't all need this specific personal treatment, but they're there. What they do need is love, and they are in AAA waiting to be adopted. We have around 400 dogs again at the moment. In this heat, it's not very fine for any dog to be there, so it would be wonderful to adopt a dog, give him a loving home. A lot of puppies have come in again, so there's many puppies to be adopted, as well as the dogs that have been there for a longer time and are waiting to be adopted in a loving family. There we have all kinds, big ones, small ones, old ones, young ones, any kind. So there will definitely be, if you're ready for a dog to adopt, there will definitely be any kind of dog that will appeal to you and that will be a part of your family, I'm sure. You can come to AAA during the days. We're closed on Mondays for the public, but we're open every day. For adoption, the best times to come between 10 and 2 o'clock. We're very busy. There might not always be somebody to help you right away with the adoption, but we'll do our best because we do need a lot of volunteers and we do need a lot of help to do what we're doing. Next to the 400 dogs, we of course also have about 200 cats, all for adoption as well. Again, all kinds, big ones, small ones, babies and older ones. So please consider coming to AAA when you're in the market for adopting a pet. We're open, you can come. You can also look on the website. There are all the pictures of the dogs are on the website, and the best thing to do is to have a look at the website first and see if there's any dog that appeals to you most. Take down the number and the name. It makes it easier for us to get the dog out and to meet the dog in private at AAA. So consider coming to AAA for adoption. Consider supporting AAA. If you cannot adopt, you might be able to support financially. You might maybe to virtually adopt a dog. All the information is on the website, so you can go there and see in what way you can help and support AAA. Not the only way is adoption. It will be wonderful, but there are many ways that you can help and support the animals. We're looking forward to meeting you or to hearing from you, and I'll see you next week with another Doggy of the Week. Thank you very much, and I'm very proud of Pasha. She's not up for adoption yet until she can walk much better. Thank you so much. See you next week. Bye. And remember, don't shop, adopt.
There are so many advantages when we help each other. I'm always predicating hashtag better together, but it's true. If we join forces, we can really do so much for one another. And I'm so delighted that the Linea director Road Traffic Safety Foundation and Linear Director Car Insurance, or the insurance company, supports Marbella now, because I can then tell them all the things that go on in our community, and I'm so proud to say they actually listen and do things for us. They taxi 4 times a month with no charge if you insure them to take you home, your car in the tow truck if you want to. Well, they're even going further than that now. If you use our special United Nationalities of Marbella supporters code, you get an additional 25% off your car insurance, your motorbike insurance and your house insurance, just because you are hashtag better together.
Hello again, Marbella. It's Amanda here again from Silk and Thin on Marbella Now TV, and I'd like to talk to you about a problem sent in to me by a lady called Gloria, which is actually quite close to my heart. Now, Gloria has a daughter, and unfortunately she's been estranged from her daughter for the last 2 years. She says to me she can't even remember really what the argument was about. Gloria is in her 40s and her daughter is in her early 20s. And they've always had, previously, a very, very good and positive relationship. Unfortunately, this argument occurred 2 years ago, and Gloria thinks it was possibly to do with the new relationship her daughter had entered into, and she didn't quite like the guy that her daughter was dating. Unfortunately, this all blew up from a discussion into an argument, and in a really sad situation, Gloria and her daughter haven't spoken for 2 years. Now, Gloria is still with the guy, Gloria's daughter is still with the guy that Gloria didn't approve of, and Gloria's recently found out that her daughter is pregnant. The reason I say this is very close to my heart is that I'm about to become a grandmother again for the second time in August, so it's, again, as I said, very close to my heart. Family is a very, very important thing, and those that don't have any know that, and we should appreciate, us that do have families, appreciate them, however difficult they sometimes are, or we sometimes are to them. Anyway, Gloria's found out through a mutual acquaintance, a friend, that her daughter is pregnant and the baby's due in a couple of months, and she is desperate, absolutely desperate to contact her daughter, get back in touch with her daughter and be involved in both her daughter's life, her daughter's partner's life, and of course her granddaughter or son's life, and it will be the first grandchild she'll have. But it's not that easy. I said to Gloria, have you tried to contact her? And she said no. She feels she doesn't know how to go about it. She doesn't know her daughter's new number, although she can get it. She doesn't know what to say to her. She's very confused, she's very upset. She wants to rebuild this good relationship she had with her daughter and bring the family closer together. Gloria's a single mother, and this is very, very important to her. Now, there are many issues to this question. For one thing, Gloria's daughter, at this point, surely needs her mother. She's pregnant, she's about to become a mother herself. She needs her mother. Gloria needs to be with her daughter at this time. And the grandchild, whether it's male or female, will need a grandparent. Grandparents are incredibly important. They play a role in the family circle that is different, obviously, from that of mother or father, and is equally important. So Gloria's desperate. So she's managed to get hold of her daughter's phone number, but she doesn't know how to go about contacting her. Well, she knows how to phone her, but she doesn't know what to say. And she doesn't know if her daughter is going to be willing to open up the relationship again. She's had reports that her daughter has said, oh, my mum is this, my mum is that, very negative things. Now, I said, Gloria, be brave. This is such an important issue, not just for you, but for your daughter and for the grandchild that's coming. Now, obviously, the gentleman that the relationship started with the daughter that Gloria didn't approve of, it worked out well. Gloria's doubts about him weren't fulfilled. He's turned out to be a good, steady guy who's looked after her daughter, and they're actually thinking of getting married. This is all through a third party that Gloria's found this out, which is very sad. She should be hearing this news from her daughter. Family is important, just as community is important. So, I've suggested to Gloria that she phone her daughter, and if her daughter is willing to speak, either they meet up and talk things through, or possibly if Gloria feels that if they meet it's going to cause a problem, they'll argue again, maybe have someone else there, another friend, a family member, somebody neutral, even a mediator such as a counsellor or somebody, just somebody possibly to be there to mediate between the relationship that they want to rebuild. Because surely Gloria's daughter deep down wants her mother there at that time, this very important time. She's going to be a mother herself for the first time soon. And I'm sure that once she is, she'll realise how difficult it is and the bond between mother and daughter, how important it is. So if anyone is in this sort of situation, please don't let it carry on. It shouldn't have carried on with Gloria for 2 years. What a waste of 2 years they could have been sharing. They could have shared pregnancy, that they could have shared, Gloria could have told her what it was like when she was pregnant with her daughter. They could have shared so much. What a sad, sad waste. Any problems like this within a family, please don't just ignore them and leave them. However difficult it is, they can be solved. They can be, you can reconcile, you can come back together. And in this particular situation, it's incredibly important that Gloria is involved in her daughter and grandchild's life, and her daughter's partner's life as well. It's all part of the greater family circle, and that's very, very important. No man is an island, and you know, it's a cliche, but it's a cliche because it's true. So if you have any problems with your family, don't just leave them. Don't let them go on for 2 years. Talk to each other. Contact each other. Get together. It's so important. This is something, again, I've experienced myself, and it really, really means a lot. So we're keeping our fingers crossed. Gloria is going to phone her daughter, and let's hope that everything works out well for them and we can have happy, proper, communicating, loving family life again. Anyway, that's enough from me, and I'll speak to you soon. It's goodbye from Amanda from Silk and Sin, and thank you very much for listening, Marbella.
Hey, hey.
Thank you for joining us for this week's Marbella Now. If you'd like to watch the show again or see our previous shows, check out the columns in the Euro Weekly News or my radio show, Me Marbella, please do go to our website, marbellanowtv.com. The idea is that we keep everybody connected, what's going on in our city, connected with the town hall, with the information that is so important if you're living here, that you really need to know to make your lives better. Thank you so much for joining us, for being part of this dynamic community that makes Marbella so very special. We'll be back next week. In the meanwhile, take care of yourselves. Be nice to each other. Hasta la semana que viene.
It's a brand new day.